Chapter 11. A Prayer for Dogs. 972, Verdant Era. It's never such a clear and warm day. Must you stop over and over like this? Can't we forget the worry and enjoy the sunshine? Kate scoffed as Greg picked out another newspaper. They did all say the same thing, quintessentially, all in bold, all worrisome, all sensation. War, thousands dead, Wurtenholst attacked, Tamarinth today, Velkstad besieged, Wurtenholst burned, the Avane foe revealed, the Velkan Chronicle, the Orden Lord declares war, Aoshan's slaughter thousands, the People's Papers, Wurtenholst invaded, Long March declared, the Estovak Epoch, war, Triarch parliamentarians, intend to honour compact, the Mere Guardian, Orden Lord declares first great march since Velkan succession, Patrons periodicals, Long March, Holy War or Pilgrimage, La Unionista, and even the Savish language periodical, Et Modern Revon, read Sympathy. All left Greg breathless. Any other day the headlines might have blessed reprieve from Tamarinth's gale winds. With the good weather, newsstands and paperboys came out like grubs to bake in the warmth and to sell their papers. Fear on a good day sold like a devil's smile. Listen, kiddo. Greg's trance broke when the stallkeeper ripped the paper away. You ain't going to get another free stack. Fork over some royals or get royally lost. The stand's keeper waved the paper at him over the register. Oh, sorry. Greg chuckled. Kate pinched his hand, if only to emphasize how embarrassed he already felt. Swaddled in the sheer veneer of a choir's habit, her gold eyes fluttered gentle like rain on a gay day, while impatience grew upon lips, lush without lipstick, tempting a frown he'd never not regret. Hair, white as the ghost sands, scrunched into her habit. Unbrushed pearl curls riled to escape from under a laurel of fresh corn poppies. Like she were the Lady Velka herself, Greg admired her. Just the thought of her return had lingered large. He'd desired her. Greg had been the first to welcome her home with a poppy from the florist, but a giver among givers was but a suitor among suitors. That crowd showered bouquets over her delegation upon disembarking the federal steamer. Not long ago there had been imbalance between them. Kate fulfilled her vows of silence before Greg, and joked of his fondness for talkative women to hide how little he'd had to say. Then he'd listen and laughed in silence, contented, on and on, for years and years, for he loved her. Now, joy at dawn had become shortness at noon. What's wrong? Kate's nails dug into the bandages, coddling fresh brands, into his heart, where years of silence had caused him to lose his way. You tease me. We may speak open again, at last, and you can't even listen. What if we could go dancing upon the pier? It is a time to celebrate. Look, sir, this boy has just become a parishioner. Kate tried to show the grumpy stallkeep the bandages, but for a reason he couldn't explain, as if they were his bare bottom, Gregor hid away and shunned what he ought to have treasured. It's just... Gregor couldn't bear words, though they shared the pain of burning palms and of sweet nothings whispered illicitly in a dark commune. To speak aloud still felt sinful. To hold hands, love unfit for a liar, crux to crux, an honour unfit for a deceiver, who had omitted much from so many tender letters, whose recoil rippled through Kate's gown as she clutched the crux fastening her robe and came running after him. Bad things happen, but a better day in Tamarinth rarely exists in all of creation. Why must you be such a troubled man? Must you never change from when you were a boy? Her plea cut him. He had hid too much for too long. For maybe elsewhere, in another way, a better day in Tamarinth there had never been, but today held no such promise. He gathered his thoughts, met her where she stood and said, "My number's up. I'm to report to the Millenstadt." She knew him well enough to sense, perhaps not the depth of, but the shape of his deception. Before a swelling tear could stain her veil, before she could retreat into the cold, Gregor pulled Kate back. He'd not let her slip away. "Gregor, why, Graf?" she demanded. "How long have you kept this from me? Why?" "You've been gone for so long, I didn't want to ruin your return. I don't understand. You're no soldier. You've just become parishioner. They made concessions for you. They need you. I need you." "Every command needs a political officer," Gregor explained, as if to a student. By the Iron Creed. By the blood, Greg! Greg's guilt only grew. She didn't deserve this pain. Is that why? Yes, Greg answered, showing away a sudden paperboy. But why? I don't understand. Wouldn't you rather not think about it? It's cathartic. They all say the same thing, but reading about it calms me down. I don't know what to expect, so... He shrugged. Saying so aloud didn't clear his way. If anything, he only felt more afraid. How was your trip throughout the Naraic? Kate gave him the look. She knew his way. Greg, must we? It's not like I'll be seeing the world soon. Give me good thoughts to go with, to paint upon the dunes in my fever dream. Greg laid kisses upon her knuckles, to look up in a puppy dog's plea. Unlike he, her palms had long healed, and her role in the cherish had long been her pride. She relented, and nuzzled up against him for the rest of the walk down the windbreak. Oh, Greg, it was wonderful, Kate began, elation faked at first, growing more genuine as she recalled the voyage. Truly wonderful. My harmony Hisact says I've the gift of Medicae, that I've been blessed. Where all did you go? Well, not much to say about the ports of Iash. Then 2 months each in Sanoa, Nora, and Semante. You know, et al. Throughout the League. I was never any good with geography, Gregor said. On so clear a day, even the scaffolding of battered buildings looked ancient, like the worn marble ruins of withered Bray, all lug nuts worn by the relentless winds to the steel nubs. Unremarkable outside the industrial causeway, the 3 spires of the Neo-Cherish hid small behind the forest of gurgling smokestacks. So many distant things today, but only one beautiful thing fetched his interest, and she skipped close at hand over sand-blasted streets as if through flowering meadows. Where was your favourite? Nora, Kate answered without hesitation. Heretics or not, they're all so warm and playful. They live for the moment. Really, love, you can't know what that means until you've seen how blasphemers live. She giggled, pure joy choked by hidden sorrow. Greedy, mayhaps, but like Ilesh, they're artists of commerce. Luxuries from Arakosh and the serviles filled their markets. And the thing they say about their gusto, oh, it's so true. The city itself is, oh, it's breathtaking. The best in all the gilded isles, they say, and I believe it. You sound like a brochure, Gregor joked. Must have hurt to not had a royal or shilling to buy your way. Don't interrupt me to say stupid things. She rolled her wide eyes. Currency or no, they'd golden architecture, sprawling with glass towers. Nothing like the concrete of a tenement block. Trees on every avenue, tomatoes on every balcony, wine at every meal, bread in every store. Kate sung and sang on and onward. And did any local fruits tease your fancy? Greg played. Oh, the fruit, oh, the strawberries and pomplapores I found as wonderful as Arga's silverlight. They'd these prickly little things from the Ilesh Isles, too. So juicy. I asked Mina if I could use her habit as a bib. I did. Oh. Kate's blush bloomed through gossamer web, and she balled the fabric tight into her hands, hiding her thin features in a trick as old as she. No, you naughty Noran. She tripped upon the common turn of phrase and smushed up Greg's own veil to blind his way instead. I served in an official capacity.